right, guys. It's okay. Guys.
He's not been given good service.
Guys. All right.
Listen,
we're going to have a quick conversation. Look ahead to the weekend. Big game in England. Manchester United with Eric Ten Hag gone, take on Chelsea this weekend. New manager bounce. They're coming up a 5-2 victory in the League Cup under Ruud van Nistelrooy. But the whispers are that Van Nistelrooy will not get the job on a permanent basis. Instead, they're chasing Ruben Amorim.
It's a done deal.
Sporting Lisbon. Well, before we look ahead to the game, I need to take thoughts from the guys on Ten Hag sacking. Coach, I want to begin with you because from the very beginning, you have said that you didn't think the coaching was the problem. From the very beginning.
You know what?
But now they've gotten rid of the coach.
Of course, I don't make that final decision at the club.
But what do you make of the decision?
I think they should have allowed him to stay. At least to the end of the season. Because, you see?
He started poorly.
He started poorly or he didn't
ended the season poorly.
He didn't end the season poorly.
He won the trophy, but in the league, he was terrible.
We know the reasons for which he was terrible in last season. The best manager in the league is already crying. Are you running away from that fact?
He has 11 players in Jets.
No, don't tell me. Because if he has the right to say so, somebody cannot say so.
He's crying at the top.
So at the end of the season, of course, but his injuries is now beginning to come. We've always said that Man City has got depth. But even they are feeling the pain now. So for me, look, back to the Ten Hag issue. If you wanted to sack him, I think he should have been sacked before the commencement of the season, which is normally what is done. When new owners come, they always want to appoint their man. Mm-hmm. And from the way Ineos themselves behaved, the disrespect shown to the manager. If I was the one in charge.
What do you mean disrespect? Because they were courting other managers by their
reports. And it was so clear. Very disrespectful. Two things. You don't court other managers when there's someone working for you. Sack him and go for the one you want, like they've done now. So I felt that once they didn't sack him after last season, and they now sat with him, triggered an extension. That meant that if you sack him now, you give him £70 million pay over the period. For the next 1 year, he takes home £70 million without doing a job. United in its present state can do a lot with £70 million. So what the sacking of Ten Hag has cost Man United is £70 million to the manager. Go pay 10 million euros to Sporting Lisbon. That is only to get the manager. Now, if the manager is saying that,
to around 15 million because
yes, of his backroom staff. So if you add that, this team that all over the place that they don't have money, this is a decision that they should have taken. So that is why I said that if once they didn't sack him last season, I would have said that it is still too early to write off the season. Man United is what, 14th, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Chelsea is what, 5th? Mm-hmm. What is the gap in points? 6 points.
The point difference.
It's 6 points.
It's 6 points?
Yeah, it's 6. So at the end of the day, you clearly see that the league table is saying they have, but if you get
17 and 11 points,
it's just 6 points. That's what makes this Sunday's game even more a crucial must-win game for you. United wins that, they are back in the fray.
United win that, they're up to 8.
There you go. Depending on upper, but between they and Chelsea. The Chelsea team that everybody think that all of a sudden will be in the top 4.
It's not everybody. They are not in the top 4. So that's really
no. At the end of the day, from the way they are playing, we've heard their supporters speak.
It's not their supporters you are worried about. Aston Villa in top 4. Aston Villa in Champions League.
No, but Aston Villa, what is the point difference between them and Man United?
It's 7 points.
7 points.
So it could still be 7 points or more.
That's what I'm saying, that it is still too early to write off the season. So me, look, my stand is my stand. But at the end of the day, it's the team that we want to do very well. If sacking Ten Hag will get these players to play. Look, all of a sudden, Casemiro has rediscovered his form. All of a sudden, for Bruno, I'm beginning to look at him like this. Because Ten Hag virtually took the captain's band,
From the original captain.
gave it to you, supported you, make sure your contract was renewed, and this is what he gets. You lead a so-called players' revolution against the manager.
Did he?
He
I'm
didn't-
sure.
He
Look,
didn't do that.
for me,
He didn't do that.
I
you
think,
can't say
look,
for you.
I think he did that.
Coach, you can't say I
Oh.
think he did that. How can you say
I'm
that?
saying
he wrote
he
if
the
I say that,
nicest-
if
he
I
wrote
say
the
that,
nicest
I
message
think,
for the
I
manager
think you have
after.
been beating your wife. Doesn't mean it's true.
You
No,
see-
you can't say that.
Now
I
listen.
think he. It's a serious allegation.
I'm saying that
he didn't do it.
Bruno
He
Fernandes,
didn't do that.
do you know why I say he did that?
Why would you
He's
say
been
that?
shambolic for the past, for almost like 6-7
Players lose
months.
form.
No.
He's
The
allowed
whole
to
team
lose.
wasn't doing well.
No. You see,
Bruno
let me
has
tell
been
you.
consistent. This small period. that is
No,
not
no, no,
consistent.
no, no.
You say he's a coup.
It's part of the reason why the team is where they are.
And the manager is not giving.
So
him
what
the
I'm saying
instructions.
is that
What's up?
now the manager leaves. Casemiro, who was just passing the ball to, he was in red, but he was giving the balls to
It's
players
just
in
one
blue.
League Cup match.
In blue.
It's just one
It's
League
just
Cup
one.
game.
And I'm saying that
Let's let him.
I have never seen-
changes.
I have never seen Casemiro play like this for the past 8 months.
It's not true. Against Southampton when he came, that small
With
cameo.
Southampton.
Against Southampton when he came,
All right.
change the
Oh,
game.
Plantain.
But it's true.
Stop that.
Ten
What
Hag-
I'm saying is that Casemiro that you and I know has been very shambolic for the past
They're saying
7
that
to
he's
8 months.
rediscovered his form because he scored 2
So
goals
therefore-
against.
So therefore,
Leicester.
Players been
you see, so therefore, no, but you see, when it's about controlling and passing,
Martinez.
look, when it's about control and pass, if a player is unable to control and pass, you don't blame the coach for that.
So therefore,
Basic technique, you cannot control and
so
pass.
therefore,
So therefore,
uh-huh.
on Sunday, they should come and show their true character.
against a Chelsea team that seems to be in good form.
Yes. Look, I think Chelsea comes into the game as favorite.
How?
No, but they are the
They
team on
just got
form.
kicked out of the.
No,
league
no,
cup.
no. Forget about that team.
Yeah, that's beating.
Their away performances in this league this season. I think they've played 5 games away. They've won 3, drawn 1, lost 1.
Yes.
And look at the team they lost to. Is the team topping the league.
Lost 2.
They've lost 2, eh?
Man's 8. No, sorry.
No, it
No.
said away.
Away. And the team they lost to away is the team maybe joined top of the league.
And that match crowd they probably shouldn't have lost.
No, I think that match, and his slot was very intelligent on his tactics.
Slot.
This Chelsea team is very dangerous on the transition.
Yes.
Very.
Very, very dangerous on the transition.
Newcastle found out.
So I am going to look
Newcastle
at
found out.
I'm going to look at what Ruben Amorim will do on Sunday. I think for the fact that Chelsea are on form, United should rather sit and invite them. And go, because the back line of Chelsea too is very, very porous.
Very suspicious.
Very suspicious. So if you United shouldn't attempt to go toe to toe with them. If they do that, Chelsea will win.
Chelsea have gotten better at keeping the ball.
That's what I'm saying.
Utilizing
If they
the
go
ball.
toe to toe with them, because of where the man is deploying Palmer in the hole, you don't know where he will pop up. Next one is on the right, on the left, through the middle, and then he's just locating the blind side of the holding midfielders, and then once he turns, the passes goes, and there's a
God,
big
that
trouble.
pass flash.
Absolutely brilliant. So for me,
That was a good pass.
Ten Hag has already been sacked. Chelsea starts as favorite. The new manager bounce that the new man is coming on. It's Amorim, eh? Is that the name?
Amorim.
Ruben Amorim.
Look,
Coach said
I
that
agree. It's a gamble. Because he's never coached any team like Manchester United before. No.
everybody who has come to coach United have never coached United
I have
before.
seen Carlo Ancelotti come to coach Everton after he's coached Real Madrid, AC Milan, Chelsea.
How did that go?
So I know what I'm talking about. Yes.
Like, they've never finished higher than he finished.
I know what I'm talking about. So the point I'm making is that on the face of it, he's a very good manager. But I don't trust that dressing room of Manchester United. I don't trust the dressing room.
I see.
he needs to come into that team and then stand his ground. Get away with any form of favoritism. And I think that should start from the English players. If this man allows the English players or the English press to dictate to him, that will be the beginning of the end.
Do you think
That was one thing I can boldly say I was so proud of. At least Ten Hag didn't allow them to dictate.
Yeah,
to him.
cost him his job.
That's what I'm saying. That
It didn't cost
It
him.
didn't
How did that
cost-
cost him his job?
Charlie,
What
I
I'm
had
saying
That's
is-
what coach is saying.
no,
He dropped Maguire. He
He
played
didn't-
Shaw. He plays
he
Rashford.
didn't
Those
listen
But
to
the
them.
performances are
He
bad.
played Menu. No, how many English
That
players are in Man
didn't.
United?
No, at the end of the day, the point I'm making is
Like
that
5.
I'm coming.
Only 3 players.
I'm coming.
When they are fit.
Out of
The
the
point
seven
I'm
of
making is that there's one player in that Man United team who's English, who this man will have to drop and to hell with whatever
The consequences.
Paul
are-
Scholes and Gary Neville.
Damn the consequences.
Damn the foolish comment of those people.
Who is that player?
Marcus Rashford.
Rashford. I knew it.
How I wish I was the coach. How I wish I was the coach. Because look, it is affecting the balance of the team. I think United best 2 wingers as we speak
Ahmad.
is Ahmad and Garnacho. Ruud van Nistelrooy, he can't drop Rashford. So I'm looking to see what.
Amorim.
And Amorim with his 3-4-3, there's no way Rashford survives in that team. No way. So for me, look, Ten Hag is gone. He's left his legacy. At least during his time, there are 2 silverwares to show. He's gone. Man United as a team will still move on. Was I happy he was sacked? No, I wasn't happy. But once the decision has been made, the team will have to move on. Am I going to back the next manager who comes? Of course I'm going to back him. Like I've always done for every other manager. Give him the chance and let him work. And for Ineos, the time has come for them to show cash and
And
support.
spend money.
No, they'll have to spend for this manager.
Okay.
That's why they shouldn't have sacked him because they've bought players that this manager that maybe he wouldn't have requested.
I was
That's
going,
the
I was
point
going
I was
to so I was going to ask you to talk to me about the players that exist now and tie it into what Amorim is used to and whether they can deliver the results. I'm going to ask Achu about what United can expect from Amorim and his tactics or his football or his character building or his behavior or what he's bringing to this particular Man United team. You, on the other hand, talk to me about why Ten Hag had to go.
I thought we've moved on from that.
I know the bizarre that guy. In fact, let me say. He's far away in Netherlands.
Yeah.
He can have whatever
Yeah,
he
he wants.
wants. I
Nobody
don't
cares.
care. I don't
See,
care.
Fence.
Okay.
Fence.
All right. Situ, yes,
The
let's.
question.
Yes. That's right.
Ruben Amorim is it's looking at the Man United squad.
Yeah.
He's coming into this team in the middle of the season. He won't sign players. He has to work with the squad that he has. And when you look at this Man United team, it is built. All the Man United forward players in wide areas are proper typical wingers, apart from maybe 2 who, if well coached, can play in the positions that Ruben Amorim's front 3 players play in.
Like who?
Anthony
Thank you.
and Amad Diallo. So, and I've always
No,
said
no,
this.
it's true.
Now, listen. He plays a 3-4-3, and Ruben Amorim's arrival could very much help one of Man United's poor laterals in defending, but could hold that position well in Diallo. Diallo has always, in my opinion, been a wing back. He's never really been a fullback. He's not that. He always needs an extra body behind him, around him. He combines well. He's comfortable on the ball. He has great energy to gallop, so he can be a proper good, a very good. If he improves in the final third, he can be an unplayable at times right wing back. Players that will suffer potentially could be Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. If the manager plays the
That
system
system,
he
yeah.
plays with Sporting, because it's 3-4-3 is not 3-4-3 flats. It's
Wingers.
actually 3-4-2-1.
Yes.
And the two behind the striker are not
Number 10s.
They are number 10s
2 10s.
or in what
Half
they
space,
inverted
yeah,
half space
inverted,
forwards.
Very
Right?
similar to what Tuchel played.
Mason Mount
Yes,
and
and
then
then-
and can have it.
So another player who could now have a good a start to life in Man United could be Mason Mount.
You need to stay fit first.
Who could, yes, so
Those
all,
2 10s.
Based
all
on the
things,
fitness.
all things coming together. Another player who perhaps suffers is Man United's captain
Bruno
Fernandes.
Fernandes.
No,
Mhm.
I rather think he benefits from them. As the
Okay,
two
let me hear
behind the
from
main
Sisho
striker.
and I hear from
So
you.
the two behind the striker, you should be able to play very comfortably in wide
Wide
areas
areas
and be disciplined in the half space. Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, is not a good player in the half space. He's not a good player in the half space, if you ask me.
Neither
and
is
he
he
also-
excellent wide.
And he also is not, for me, a disciplined midfielder to sit around
Long, yeah.
Alugati or a defensive midfielder. So Ruben Amorim is coming into a squad that has plenty difficulties for him to work around. That's who you play the back team. That one
Simple.
shouldn't be difficult.
Simple.
He has enough to work with.
Mhm.
Lenny Yoro will be fit. You have Martinez. You've got Dile. You've got Lindelof.
He has
Even-
options.
Even
Even in the
Mazraoui
three
can
back-
even play.
Even in the three back,
Mazraoui can play right
Dalo has
center.
shown he can do. Sure, if Faith has shown he can do a job. And Maguire will be well protected in the back three.
He couldn't come inside because of the high line. He's not going to come
Maguire's
inside.
best performances.
Look at that.
Coach Howard. Maguire's best performances has come when he's playing for England.
A
No,
back
but coach-
three in the low block.
Yeah, but
This
this
man
one is
still
high.
plays the
Very
high block.
high.
Yeah, it is reasonably high. You see, in Sporting, in Sporting, he's built a team that at the moment is number one in the
Yeah.
country. So the way they approach games might be different from the way. Look, if he won't turn Man United from.
He won't try that
No,
thing. You
and-
go and play
and-
No,
that
but there are
shit.
some
So he
basic.
started
You see,
He started from. So when he started from Sporting, it's
It was very pragmatic.
It was very pragmatic. So for now, like I'm looking at the place we have now. Obviously, Maguire has to
Yes.
move on. Like, but the place he has,
He has to
now,
make do with what he
and
has.
what he has to do in the course of the season, he can sign players.
if Euro comes,
Coach, I'm only mentioning options.
Martinez,
I'm not saying he will start.
delete,
Don't worry.
finish.
You there,
Maguire,
you
they
know
don't
what he
mention
is.
his name. Charlie.
Zuku Kela.
Maguire.
Zazute.
So for me, two things can happen.
Okay.
Ruben Amorim is about to upset some big names in the squad,
Yeah.
or he's about to forgo his
System.
principles and now introduce a system to suit the best, supposedly best players in Man United. So maybe he's going to ditch the inverted forwards behind the striker and play flat front three to accommodate the likes of Rashford, the likes of Garnacho, the likes of Amad Diallo,
Yeah.
and things, right? Or maybe, just like Antonio Conte has learned with Napoli. First game, back three, he lost. He's gone to a 4-3-3. He's never lost. Maybe he comes.
Like he did with Chelsea. He
he
came
can play
with
the
4-3-3,
didn't
was
work,
losing
go to back.
3-5-2.
So I'm very coy and I'm looking keen on what Ruben Amorim does because the squad available at Man United, the players who in principle fit what he does with Sporting are not in form, are not good enough at the moment. And the players who look like they're the best Man United players may not fit or do not fit what we've seen him do with the Sporting team. So it's a massive conundrum. Like, I'm looking forward to see what he does with the squad available to him and how he work it out. But it's not going to be a straightforward thing for him, I think.
Actually, what kind of manager are they getting in terms of like everything? His disposition, his disciplinary record.
Very
He's-
ambitious guy.
Uh-huh.
So he first intended at United and
Jose.
Mourinho. I think yesterday Mourinho gave the interview where he said United are getting a brilliant manager and the best Portuguese manager in the country.
At the moment.
Yeah. So in terms of his exposure to the elite ranks, he's seen a bit of it, but never from a position where he is directly
The main man.
responsible for things. His rise has been very meteoric because if you look at the Sporting team that he took over, they hadn't won the league for a number of years. Investments were low, but he did two things.
Ronaldo in teammate too.
Yeah.
That play Portugal.
Quickly
Yeah.
establish his order in how he wanted the team to play. And that is one area that is important for Manchester United if he gets it right. Because, his appointment is very similar to Eric Ten Hag because Ten Hag was seen as young, futuristic manager
True.
with very clearly defined set of principles and
Factors.
philosophy.
Yeah.
It's coming to establish that.
Successful in every day, say like it's the same thing virtually, the same thing.
So when
The
you
same
look at it
script.
from that
You
angle,
mean we'll fight them all?
errors come to an end.
So when you look at from that angle, at least there is a certain continuity in terms of what they want. So
Okay.
they've still gone back to what they were looking for, someone who clear in his mind what he wants to do and sticks to it. So that is what he has to, because at the base of it, look, for me, I'm not looking at Manchester United being competitive for titles again. They just have to be good at football again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just be good at football. Let's clearly define what kind of football Manchester United are good at, because that ties directly into what kind of players they can spend money on, what kind of players they should even keep.
Right.
And so everything rests with what Amorim is coming to do. Now, what results have he been able to achieve? 1-2 titles. He's got about 3 Portuguese caps also to his name. And I think in July, he did mention that he wanted to make history because for 26 years, no one has won 3 consecutive titles for Lisbon. But he's managed to win 2 on the bounce. If he is able to complete this season, or if he had been able to complete this season as champion, this would have been him making record as the first manager to do that for Sporting Lisbon. But even before now, there were always whispers that he was going to come to Manchester, but not to United.
As a possible replacement for
Pep
Pep.
Guardiola. So at the beginning of the season, when Hugo Viana's deal was confirmed that it was coming to replace Chiki Bergwijn, because the two of them have a wonderful rapport, the conversations were about it being only a matter of time. And by the time he also comes in, he would have had a bit more experience, a richer CV with the history would have made, because the expectation is that they would have gone on to win the Portuguese league this season as well.
Yeah.
So he's essentially given that up to come to Manchester United with all of the chaos. Again, another decision that just goes to show you that when it comes to the big clubs, the allure will always be there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People said quite a bit about Real Madrid, and before Jose Mourinho walked into that door, about how standards had fallen. They couldn't remember all the years when Madrid were being beaten by Roma and Olympique Lyon in the Champions League run of 6.
Left, right, center.
Liverpool, before your club walked through that door, after Rafa Benitez, they had gone so many years without an elite manager, quote unquote. But because they were Liverpool, they could attract someone like Jurgen Klopp, who at the time was, for all intents and purposes, top
I'd
3,
even said
top
that
4.
he was even going on a sabbatical.
But when
He
Liverpool
cut that
called,
short.
he had to cut that short because that is the size of the club that had called. So
Mm.
this is what he's sacrificing, because, and at City, he would have had a more established, better support system with a boss that he's familiar with, has already worked with, to help him fast track,
like go come the City Division 2.
fast track
The
that
charges
process
back
of
them.
fast track that process of acclimatization. But again, maybe what Situ has also mentioned is something that you cannot escape, right? That in your planning, that this might be the job that I want to take.
But
This is a decision that is going to have ramifications, because no one really knows how this is going to conclude. And the sort of sanctions if City are found guilty. So that is something that's also on the other side. In terms of what he has to do at Manchester United, I think I've said a bit of that. He has to be very dogmatic in insisting that it is my way or the highway. But in terms of his game management, be pragmatic enough to adjust his methods if they are not getting the results, because no matter how good his ideas are, he needs to stay in the job to be able to implement them. And you only stay in the job by getting results.
Mm-hmm.
That is something Ten Hag did not do. Ten Hag had in excess of 2 years. And yet, in the end, United were playing the very football that he was brought in to come and cure.
Right.
Under Jose Mourinho, even for Mourinho, you could give him a pass because that is exactly the football that he wanted the team to play. It just didn't work out. Right? Or
Even
he just
Ole had a defined system.
which was counter-attacking football. Ten Hag's Manchester United were at their best when they were playing that kind of football. That cannot happen. That should not happen. So he needs to come in, establish that order of what he wants to do. And that's why I said being dogmatic is very important, because it is very easy for the players who are not used to that change to resist it and push back and revert to type. when things get very difficult for them. So it is important that he decides and sets the tone right from the get-go. Okay. The concessions that Ten Hag made, especially after that Brighton game. In the first season, everyone pardoned it because he needed to stay in the job. But after that, when the second season started, and we're still seeing shades of the Ralph Rangnick, Ole, Mourinho kind of football, I knew this wasn't it. So this is the aspects that he has to take in and make sure that we are able to see evidence of why he was brought in. Final point for me has to be Ineos. Not let him down. Already they have made mistakes in terms of the decision to keep Ten Hag, make investments without any manager in mind. Going forward, we need to see a sharp departure from that, right? And find a way to recruit right, and as much as possible, get him something close to what the manager wants and can work with. Because while it is important for us to have that expectation that he's able to change that style and get them to play football that is significantly better than they currently do, he would have to do that with materials.
And they have to give him the right materials. Listen, Daniel is the one who likes to say everything has to be put in the right context. If we put things in the right context, Erik Ten Hag this season, 7 points off the top 4 places. That's not so bad.
7 points away from relegation.
Yeah, but 7 points away from the top 4 is also not so bad.
It's Man United.
They played 3 games in Europe this season. They've not won any. But also, if you draw away at Fenerbahce, that's not so bad. If you draw away at
Manchester United are talking about.
If you draw at FC Porto, that's not so bad, is it? There's the FC20. The FC20 draw, yeah, that's unpardonable. That's at Old Trafford. But you get a draw at Porto, at the Dragao. That's a good result. You get a draw.
You see, the reason why he said that, the team is not there yet.
Yes.
So that was a good result.
Yes.
Don't look at this team as if they are in the class of Barcelona.
The Fenerbahce result.
After 2 years.
When Jose spoke, you heard what he said.
You've not been there for the past 11, 12 years. You've not been at your level for the past 11, 12
Forget
years.
about the result.
That was the reason he was brought.
For 1 year.
You go to Sukuri Karagutu and you get the draw.
No, friends, listen. Forget about this season. It's been a year since last Man United won a game in Europe. You're telling me the team is not there. Which teams have beaten Man United? Which teams?
They've played once for 1 year.
Copenhagen.
Galatasaray.
Challenge, stop. 20. No, that excuse they leave it.
Charlie.
Make it talk.
You go to Sukuru Saragoglu and you go and get a draw and you are not impressed.
People are playing
Or you
Noah,
go to
Noah, people
Dragao.
are playing Noah and Cole, so you think
Noah's Ark.
What's nowhere, sir?
You were playing
the
Noah's
team,
Ark.
your team that you played against in the conference league, yeah, Noah.
Friend, maybe we'll talk.
I
You know,
didn't-
Chelsea
You
play
didn't
Noah.
change them. You
He
didn't
said
change the
Noah's
environment.
Ark.
You see,
But
when I said they are a conference league team, he will come at
You
you.
know,
But it's a
team
conference
sound.
league.
You know
That's why he
Ah,
confused
he's a
about
You know
the
them
team.
are opponents.
Which team
You talk.
Which team did you guys play? Friends, which team did you guys play?
Move on to them.
They're the game. Chelsea are winning the Conference League. We are winning the Premier League. Or we are winning the FA Cup. You go on.
I should go on that word. No talking it. No ask me question. Yeah, listen.
Okay. Let's move on then. Interim manager.
Rude.
Ruud van
But
Nistelrooy
Rude, you know the
against Chelsea this weekend. What's going to happen?
look, it will be very, very tough for him. It will be very tough. This Chelsea team they're a good team. They are
Excellent
you can
team.
see the imprint of the manager, especially offensively.
Top manager. You just
Where-
say no top manager will come there, but top manager is there.
Yeah.
Doing
Where
top work.
I didn't say top manager. I said no world class manager.
elite.
He's world
No
class.
elite manager.
He's doing elite work. World class manager. Enzo Maresca.
Won't you allow
He
him to
won
talk?
the championship, left the championship winning team to come to Chelsea, which was his supposed chaos. And look at what he has brought to the team. Oh my goodness, what a team.
They are not in top four.
What
Yeah,
a
exited
team.
the League Cup.
Allow DK to talk.
Danny K, talk about Chelsea. What a team.
Yeah,
Ah,
Maresca
no, wait,
is
so you asked him to talk about the game. Right? So you talk about Chelsea.
You-
What should he do?
Let him talk.
What else should he do?
He started, he was talking about
He
Chelsea.
said Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yes, and then he said this Chelsea team is an excellent team.
The reality
What
check
a
that's on the
team.
horizon
I
for
didn't
him.
use the word excellent.
You said they're a brilliant team.
Said you're a good
I
team.
said they're a good team.
And I said great. I'm adding more adjectives. What a team.
yeah, last season they were.
They have the best player in the Premier League. Cole Palmer. You want to argue?
Charlie, what's going on here?
See, viewers, the next time Trent is not on the show, he's not going anywhere. He's got Chelsea lost.
Okay, continue.
Thank you.
Please.
Chelsea, especially in the league, Chelsea look like they are in good form. Even the Liverpool game here, the results didn't go their way, but we saw how good they can be, even against the big boys. Against Man City, their opening game, we saw how good they can be. Probably this is the most winnable big game that they are going to face this season. And Chelsea will be looking at Old Trafford and looking at this as a huge opportunity for them to make a statement in their growth. But Van Nistelrooy can win this. Why am I saying that? Look, this Man United, they've been surrounded with toxicity for a very long time. And we saw the freedom. It wasn't freedom in terms of tactical acumen. You could just tell they were happy.
Emotionally free.
Thank you. A weight has been lifted off their shoulder. They don't need to walk into the doors of Old Trafford and be afraid because they forgot to grease the manager, and for that they could be fined. That's how toxic the environment was. But look, he can win it because there's a feel good vibe in the team. The players will be willing to prove a point. There's a template for beating this Chelsea team. They have a very poor defense. They concede chances for fun. Yes, offensively they are good, but the low block can be a problem for them when it comes to breaking it down. And this Manchester United team is tailor-made for counter-attacking football. In fact, Old Trafford will get behind you when you are flying in transition. And the template has been set. We've seen this team play that way over and over and over again. I think if Van Nistelrooy can figure out how to be as... Because, look, even if you are low, Chelsea will create chances. They are good. They will create chances. But you also need to create chances of your own. Chances with high level of... high volume, high XG.
When I've watched Chelsea this season, I think that I've seen the best way to score against Chelsea is for teams that set out to press high. Because they have still not worked out how to play out from the back. They've got a lot of players who are uncomfortable. Yeah. They've got a lot of players who do. It's still not perfect what Maresca wants to do.
In the defense, especially.
So the build up from the back is a problem, especially their first line in build up. Now, for most of the teams that have scored against Chelsea, at least we saw it against City, we saw it even against Newcastle recently. Isak's goal. Would Van Nistelrooy be wise to ask his team to press high, also knowing that when Chelsea managed to bypass that press on the transition, as coach mentioned, they can be devastating. But again, when they sit back against Chelsea, they are quick enough to recover, even on the counter. Like, they are so... People underrate how good Chelsea are at stopping counter attack because they've got some very quick players. Fofana is quick. James is back. Mallam used to lose quick.
Cucurella, it doesn't stop running.
Is quick. Caicedo and Lavia looking at parts. So they are quick enough to recover to stop counter attacks at times. So would Van Nistelrooy risk pressing high? And also, then the dangers that comes with that.
Whatever he does, it won't work.
I don't think pressing high will be smart. Because look,
pressing high is not smart.
It's about the first goal.
Not smart.
For you to press high, you need to have done it for a while for it to be in sync. Because if you are going to press high, it means the midfield, the defense, they have to be in sync. And for one moment, you can't make a mistake because that's how good this Chelsea team are. I don't think I've seen Chelsea against a low block team. Even as
you mean this season?
This season, I've not seen them play as expansive and create as many chances against a low block team, as opposed to when they are playing teams who want to go toe to toe. At Stamford Bridge this season, Chelsea has struggled certain times where teams have decided to sit back. It was this guy's team.
Was it Nottingham Forest?
Was it? It was Nottingham Forest.
No.
It was Nuno. Yeah.
It was Forest. The draw.
Yes, the draw.
1-1.
Thank you. Draw. Nuno sat deep, and we saw Chelsea. It's not like the chances they created were from individual brilliance.
And the game only opened up in the last 5 minutes.
Last 5 minutes,
Yeah.
it was when it became chaotic, the red card here and here. That's when the game opened up. But Nottingham Forest seemed pretty compact and pretty, like, Chelsea didn't worry them in terms of their defensive play. So, look, I think mine is just low block. It will not be a risk to go low block. And again, you talk about recovery. It's not just about having quick players to recover. It's the positions that they are recovering from. Chelsea are very fluid. When they have the ball, their players move into their spaces between them. That's why it's a bit easier to catch them on a counter. We saw Nottingham Forest do that. And they did that repeatedly. It was just the final ball, the final shot that was lacking. But they created the scenarios where they were breaking at Chelsea and they had opportunities to kill them. And Man United had better quality players up front. United have played this counter-attacking football for a while. The players seem to be in sync when they are moving at high speed in transitions. So I think that would be the best way to beat this Chelsea team. If United decides to go toe-to-toe, if they decide to play football with Chelsea, I think they will lose and they'll lose badly. Like Chelsea will
win. Doesn't matter what United do. New manager bounce.
But I see the good thing about and the difference between Ten Hag and Amorim. Remember when Ten Hag was coming into Man United? There were talk of his man management skills. The fact that even some of his favorite players, the guys who thrived under him, didn't have very good relationships with him. In fact, he came into a real focus during the Frankie de Jong time. When they said that, not Frankie de Jong, the elite, those guys who made their name under him didn't necessarily have that close personal relationship with him. There was respect, but it wasn't. Amorim is a unifier. And United need that at this point in time. They need, you see, if you read the Athletic Ten Hag,
the backstory.
Some of these things.
Every time they go talk, say unanimous, somebody commented to same relationship. We try to draw for
No, but the Ballon d'Ors, they got it right.
We forget the Ballon d'Or. They talk the backstories, the club backstories. That one did master. They give filler pass. It be true.
It be sweet filler, but
No, let me say it be sweet filler. It is consistent with the character. If somebody they lie, you go see.
Make I give you an example. Vincent Company. They said Vincent Company go tell did say you not say the ball, you know go play so.
But I don't talk that.
Yeah, come on, I not see that go play. Oh, why people go write that story? They say it be sources in the club.
They say somebody tell them say company go say.
Yeah.
You understand? But this one it be first hand information.
Right.
Say the whole Ronaldo thing, the fact that he wasn't allowed to even kind of pick babe and boot. They didn't allow him to pick his babe. What the players say, are you to like? Is it that like like what's up? They say Sancho, you go lose 3-1. They ask you, say, why Sancho don't play? You say he's lazy. The guy say, I'm not lazy, don't listen to anything. You say right now, he make the team public. Meanwhile, you go talk the team for public, where you respond you in public. Where right now they say the guy for listen, he has to apologize. They say Charlie, they play. And you see, Boga, we are with the institutions inside. CEO's relationship with the employees. You can the percentage of successful or closeness in terms of relationship between a CEO and employee as against employee, it will be very little on the CEO side. Mm-hmm. We work together every day, so we are more likely to build a stronger relationship than you and the boss.
Yes.
So if I see that they are treating Atu some way, it can affect me. Yeah. And especially if I don't agree with it, if Atu is stubborn guy. Well, I not say he's my friend, but he's stubborn.
What really affects me all?
And he's fully and they are punishing him. That one, I know really good vex. But when Atu is a cool guy, like you know, really cool guy.
Or if you
what he do, you don't be any you don't be any giddy thing. That one they will look at you some way, and you see,
using a lock to kill an ant.
Thank you. You need to look.
That's what Amorim will fix.
It's a dressing room with ego.
Yeah. Like
and when you listen,
like this,
thank you, it be rubbish. Yeah. When you listen to the way he brought the Sporting Lisbon team together, these are some of the stories that you want him to be able to come and bring that relationship and that closeness back into the Man United dressing room, where there's respect, where there's competition, and I know that I'm sitting on the bench because I deserve to sit. Yes, I deserve to sit on the bench.
In the United team, That dressing room, there are leaks. Oh.
Yes, because
Amorim will come there and say, Rashford, sit down. Then he will go and tell Gary Neville. Then they'll go and tell Ferdinand. Then they start ranting. Rubbish talks all over the
There's
all
an
over the
issue
place.
also. There's an issue also. And you see, that's the inconsistencies with Ten Hag that I just didn't like that people were failing to see and address. You can't come and tell us that somebody is not training hard. Yet somebody who has been playing for a year and a half consistently,
He's training hard.
giving poor performances, and his direct competitor can't even get 5 minutes to prove that he's good enough to play. That's a problem. Anthony
And
can't be playing.
that competitor trains well. Oh.
He trains well. And then all of a sudden, when you decide that it is time, the guy won't play again. We all can see that guy is miles ahead of. So what happened the year? Like what happened during that year and a
Let
half?
me give you an example. Even in the last 2 weeks, some way, somehow, Amad Diallo has lost his place
Place because
Then you are playing in the Europa League. You've got Amad Diallo on the bench. You brought on Anthony when you needed a goal before Amad Diallo. And Amad Diallo Anthony got injured. Amad Diallo gets on the pitch. The moment he takes a touch, Man United win and find a dangerous position. Something Anthony never did. So when you tell players,
It's not the one that when he was coming on, he looked so angry.
Yeah.
Sure he's tapping him and he's not.
no, he's never been
And
fair.
Ten Hag's explanation is, even though you are good, I have to respect what someone does in training.
Yes, that's what he said.
Yeah.
That he has to respect what Anthony. But when the guy plays in the games,
Training Papa Bay.
then all you ain't here on your ball.
Training Papa Bay.
you see,
You know,
and you see these
The man
things,
is gone. Oh.
look, no, it's not
So
about
he's
his goal.
gone.
No, I'm saying that
no, it's built the premise
this
of why
thing has been set.
the dressing room is divided.
There were similar things that were happening under Oli, where Rashford is clearly playing very poorly, yet won't sit on the bench because he's just a favorite. You need a manager who can come in and can tell the star player that, look, you are not playing well, and you sit down, and the star player will not be angry, he will respect it. And these are the sort of stories that we've heard at Sporting Lisbon. Look, Sporting has won, they had just lost their captain, Bruno, when Amorim came in. Bruno had joined Man United. When the guy came in 5 months, he had 1 cap with the depleted team with no money.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? He made star players in Mateus Nunez and Edwards and
Michael Edwards.
no, even before him, this boy. No,
I said he made money.
Yeah, no, star play, this guy, the one who went to Nuno Mendes.
Yeah.
Nuno Mendes, Mateus Nunez, them. They were like his first full season when he promoted the small boys. He brings some other killers inside the team. Made stars out of them. It reached a point they had to sell. There were points where Mateus Nunez will try. He will sit on the bench, and another academy boy who I just promoted from the academy. He will bring another academy boy. He's going to take his place. And Nunez no go vex because he respects that I'm not. This is a sort like that's what top managers are about, and that's what top teams. Thank you. That's what top teams need. There's no starting 11, sure starting 11 for Man City or for Arsenal or for Liverpool.
Or Chelsea now.
So just stop that.
Hey, please. Last
hey.
week, didn't they drop a E for
last point.
what's his name?
This
Sancho. You know how many assists he made in a row then when he was poor against Liverpool? They dropped
last
him.
point. This thing is getting irritating. Last season you were 6th, now you are 5th. Good job. You are still out of the top 4.
Who is that?
You.
Who is me?
Chelsea.
Me, I'm
Like you were saying we.
I
were saying we. Now I'm addressing the thing to you.
I
I
didn't say
say
we.
you are
I didn't say
you are
we.
out of the League
I
Cup.
didn't say we.
FA Cup has
United
started.
are 14.
You are
They
playing.
have sacked
No,
the coach.
doesn't matter. I'm not the one saying United is a
so
fantastic
your point
team.
is-
You are saying
We are talking United.
saying
You brought in
Messi.
Chelsea.
But United is facing Chelsea. I'm not talking about the two teams.
And
And I'm saying that
Newcastle,
this season,
Arsenal, who wins?
this season, Chelsea to calm down. The season,
Newcastle, Arsenal, who wins?
last season's top 4 are still in top 4. You understand? So the
Newcastle,
Aston Villa that
Arsenal.
everybody's looking at like they know they'll drop. That's a
They
disrespect,
haven't-
guys.
they
It's
haven't
on
fallen.
way.
Aston Villa
Last
are not
season's
going
top 4
anywhere.
are still in
Is
the
that
top
not
4.
our drop? By you?
Okay.
What's wrong with you? Okay, DK. This weekend, on Betway, I'm going to run you through some games. Tell me what's going to happen. Starting off Saturday, Newcastle, Arsenal.
Arsenal straight win.
That's not going to happen.
Okay.
That's not happening.
Tell me what you think. I've told you what I think.
See, that's
Oh,
fine.
Newcastle 1-0.
Okay.
Bournemouth, Man City.
Things Arsenal with Chelsea.
Bournemouth.
Tell me what will happen when I say you say.
No.
So tell me.
City are gonna win.
I was
City
only interested in the Newcastle
City are
Arsenal
going to win.
match.
City will win, I think.
City win. Okay. Ipswich, Leicester.
That's a tough one.
At where?
2 goals.
Where?
In that order.
They're playing at this stage.
Charlie,
Leicester
two
will-
goals.
1.5.
Both teams to score.
Yeah,
Leicester will-
Liverpool, Brighton.
Again.
A repeat of the at Anfield.
Yes.
Slot
Man,
two,
slot
slot
two.
2, slot 2. 1-0.
Slot.
Slots. La 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 la.
Forest, West Ham.
Oh, Forest straight.
Forest,
Quick.
Yeah,
Or if you
West-
like, I even go under.
West Ham
2.5.
shine like that.
Why say wait? Why say West Ham don't lose any game where they lose
It's a fact.
in the Premier League?
They've won every game where he's not played.
Let's go.
They've won every
game
game.
where Kudus hasn't played.
Yes,
Ah, is it true?
strangely.
Yeah, and I looked at that, my heart cut for.
Strangely. It's a
Hey,
strange.
if it Ten Hag,
It'd be strange stats.
if it Ten
My
Hag.
heart cut.
Southampton versus Everton.
Oh, Everton straight.
Everton, I think. At St. Mary's.
Everton will
Yeah.
win.
It's Everton win or draw.
At the St. Mary's, Southampton are more expensive, so they should open up. Everton will put it
Everton
inside.
win or draw.
What about Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Crystal Palace?
I think Wolves win. Wolves play very
They
well.
play
They are-
very well.
They are difficult
They're very
fixtures.
lucky.
Very
They
good
are very
team.
unlucky, in
Yeah,
fact.
they are
good
very
team.
difficult fixtures. I think Wolves will win. But Palace on the back of that
They are coming back, yeah.
Some way.
Sunday afternoon, first match. Spurs
That
Villa.
Nottingham Forest game. So
Spurs Villa.
Spurs Villa. What a match.
Oh, Villa win.
1.5.
Villa win.
Spurs Villa win.
1.5.
At the Spurs Stadium.
Villa win.
At the Villa Park.
Highline. Villa win.
No, at in
so-
London.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going for a
I
Villa
don't
win.
see how Villa win there. I think it's gonna be. We're gonna see 2 goals. If on some bet way.
Classic Spurs after beating City.
I think Spurs will win.
Yeah, me too.
Villa win.
Monday night is Fulham Brentford.
Both
That's a
teams to
good
score.
game. That is a very good game. We're
Both
gonna
teams to
see
score.
like 2.5.
Yeah.
2.5 means what 3 goals.
Mm.
3 goals.
Over 2. And United Chelsea.
Chelsea or draw.
United will beat Chelsea.
You say that all the time. Chelsea wins.
You asked his prediction. Hey,
I disagree with his prediction. Aju, who wins that?
United win. Straight win.
I think it's gonna end.
Chelsea wins. And that's our episode on Ten Hag and the preview of the weekend matches. We're back again next week with another episode of Mallam Go Podcast by Betway. I'm Fentio. This is Daniel. That's Christopher. This is Philip. And this is Victor.
Aha, hey, you forgot something.
Call us Victor.
You forgot
I don't
something.
remember the last time anyone called me.
Charlie, you forget something. You see the time where they asked the Hag say Ronaldo has said something in this thing.
Yes.
Where he say if you read the thing well, he said we can't win it. He said we'll see me. We'll see too. Foolish man.
Darling guys, cheers for watching. We're back again next week.